Jezzibell, it's been almost a year since we spoke last time, and at that time you were just appointed general manager for service providers at Kentik. So what has changed for these 12 months? And at that during that conversation, you have outlined some of the major challenges that service providers are dealing with, and Kentik is set to solve these problems. How has your vision and mission changed over these couple of 12 months? If it has. So maybe you could give us an outline of your work and your vision.
Absolutely. It's first of all, thank you for having me back. It's such a pleasure to be here. And, I think it's a very interesting time for the whole market, right? The world. Like so much is changing, especially with AI, there's a lot of economic and geopolitical uncertainties in the world. Um, and all of those are the underlying motivations and drivers for changes and for adoption of changes. And what Cantic is doing, which is the physical, well, is supporting the physical underlying infrastructure of networking, right? It's not just physical, it's logical. It's providing the intelligence for the network, which is the foundation of all things digital. If you think about the digital domain of the world, right, that everything you talk about that's AI, that's cloud, that's digital transformation has to happen on top of having the ability to be reached, to be connected. If you can't connect to any of that, none of that is matters. And or if you cannot connect it in the level of reliability and performance that you need to have for it to be effective, then it's not useful to have all of this innovation in AI and in everything else that we're experiencing, right? People talk about having real impacts of digital transformation. You think about having remote surgeries, right? You don't need to have an excellent surgeon anymore. You can have a machine. I can't call it a robot because, an excellent surgeon could be operating on someone remotely via that machine. That is possible. It's like things that we thought when I was growing up that were science fiction. It's reality, right? That's possible, but you have to have the real-time network to support that because, if you have a delay and somebody's bleeding out on the table and the surgeon doesn't see it until, later, that's a problem, right?
Yeah,
So
that's a critical problem, I would say. In the example that you're providing, that's that the millisecond delay can be critical in such situations.
that's great. It's not just entertainment. It's not your Netflix buffering,
Exactly.
right? It's like this is real life impacting. And technologies have gotten us there. And I love the fact that we are now in a time that so much can happen and so much are happening so fast, right? Um, but all of that to depend on the network. So then when you come to look at the network, so like what makes a network, if you say, okay, so we're network operators, we're going to be operating a network to be effectively, to be efficiently, to perform, to deliver all this amazing innovation. What is it that should I care about as the network operator? How can I deliver this better, make it, that's reasonably costed so it's can be adopted everywhere and by everyone, right? That's we can democratizing network and to make it available to everybody. So when we build technologies, we always think about three different elements, right?
Hmm.
The performance,
Hmm.
the reliability, and the cost.
Yes.
So I think that the reliability of the internet in the last 10, 15 years have improved tremendously. I don't know that if you recall, um, 15 years ago, even 10 years ago, you know, I was thinking that making a phone call on your cell phone getting dropped all the time was like normal,
Hmm.
right? It's like, oh, the phone dropped. Okay. But And similarly to, dialing onto the internet, right, with AOL online, and it's like, oh, I don't have internet. The website is not loading. Things are slow, whatever it may be. You're expected. You're like, oh, I'm gonna go get a cup of coffee because I'm downloading something. When was the last time you actually thought to that? Right? So
Yeah.
now, like, if something's buffering, you're like, God, this is so slow. And then it's loaded, in milliseconds. So
Yeah.
we have different sets of expectations. The files that we're, working with, the content are so much higher quality. The number of packets that we're expected to deliver are it's just exponential, right? You're not just sending emails anymore. So, but how do you keep the performance up? We've done a pretty good job at getting the performance to be at a better place, but I think the demand is going to continue to grow. AI is looking at, you know, reaching information data of all types of format. Recently, right, is done the GPUs, right, the graphical pieces where we can't process. And I think when I was growing up, the phrase was a picture's worth 1,000 words, right?
Yes.
I don't know, right? So, um, well, a high resolution picture is probably 1,000 times the size of an email,
Exactly.
right? Like when you were delivering it. So thinking about the quantity of data that we have to deliver and the machines have to process, be able to get it to here and there and everywhere. And it's not one picture that you know the AI is processing. It's so many different things, and so all of that will continue to drive the need for performance and drive the need of capacity. So that's number one. And then number two is the reliability, right? You have to know that it's going to be there. If it doesn't get there one way, it's got to be able to get it there the other way because it's becoming increasingly mission critical. Like I said, it's not just, you know, Netflix or video games. I mean, I'll tell you, my son would say that having poor performance and unreliability on these video games is life and death, but to us it really isn't. But there are things that are mission critical, and they're not just you know money anymore. I mean, it is money. If you're a website, you're selling, you conduct e-commerce,
Yeah.
right? If your customers can't reach you even for a few minutes, imagine how much revenue you could be losing, right?
Yeah, I believe that
And
that example with retailers, right, and online sales, that is critical because people have very low level of patience now. And as you said, put this, right, rightfully, we are expected to have this instant connectivity, and any slightest glitch will actually lead you to losing money and impacting your business.
1,000%, right? But then, you know, let's say you're working on both the performance and the reliability. Is it easy to do? It's not. But you know how to do it easier? You can pay a lot of money to do it easier, right? If you have all the routes and all the best connections, and you can spend a lot of money, but then you're not, you as a business owner, as an operator, have the responsibility to make money for your stakeholders, right?
Exactly.
And so then how do you control your cost? Because that all of a sudden that could be blown out of the sky completely, right? And um,
So what you
then
are
you have
saying.
to focus on your cost.
Yeah, Jezebel. So what you are saying that currently there has been a significant improvement made in terms of performance and reliability. But when we are talking about service providers, the cost that they have to kind of their cost of delivering the billions of packages of data across the globe, that can be the challenge. Is that what you are saying?
I'm saying that. all three as a combination
Okay.
will become a bigger challenge, right? Because we've been optimizing on the performance. We've been working. So think about there's always lower hanging fruit when you're in a situation. You go get like, oh, I can do this. It's easy to do. That will give me better performance. I'll do this, give me better performance, and will give me better reliability. But at some point, you've extracted a lot of that already. You've got to the easier to deal with. And when you expand the scalability, right, the need for capacity more, and that you're looking at the cost all at the same time, the combination of the three becomes very challenging. That means that you are going to need, as an operator, real intelligence. Because when you're just going after the low hanging fruit, they're the bigger strokes, right? You can see it's easily understood. Oh, this is something. When you're really trying to get the optimization at a such large scale, you got to know where is the right place to make that investment. That is data dependent, right? That's intelligence dependent. You can't just say, oh, I see in the big picture that this is, I think, something we should do. You really need to leverage the data that you have and to come out to real insight and real conclusions through analysis to understand how you can make those impacts that will impact all three elements of optimization of your operational efficiencies.
And yeah, that actually leads us to the I hear that Kentik has launched a new feature, traffic cost, right, which allows in real time for businesses and also service providers to get their actionable insights into the cost of their traffic, right, which will allow them to reroute, make better decision in terms of peering, and that will impact the bottom line. But so I understand the logic, right? Right. One of my question was like, why now, and how come that this problem was not tackled like decades ago? It seems the basic thing to know your cost, and looks like it was one of the major challenges for businesses to know where they are leaking their money, right? And they cannot impact this. So tell us more about the traffic costs, and also what is the reason, right, for you to prioritize this feature at Kentik?
Absolutely. Such a great question because, first of all, I want to say um, it was also shocking to me that we are industry first. Like, there's no one else that has this capability. And you ask why? Why is this industry first? Why haven't this is a real problem? Why haven't someone else already solved this? Because it's very difficult to solve, right? Let me give you an example. Hopefully, it's easier to understand and to visualize. When you think of a river, right? The water flows down river. And can you at any given point pinpoint where the water is coming from and to go to where and how does it flow? It's very difficult because you have no idea because it's different every moment,
Exactly.
right? So it's the same thing with network. The traffic, it's not the same. You're not seeing the same traffic because the demand is different. So, and your customers, when you're working with your customers, they demand the traffic to come from different places, right? So then you have to understand on both a granular, a macro scale and a micro scale, where are your traffic coming from? Where are they going? Do you have the best routing? And do you have the right path? Is it public? Is it private? Right? Do you have the right peers? Are you sending traffic out to someone that you're paying, or is it free to you? How are you managing this traffic? Right? And are you in the right places to connect to the right people? Because, networking is very complex. You can be in one place and pay the same supplier one price, and a different place paying the same supplier to deliver that traffic from somewhere else at a different price point. So, are you cognizant of where you're handing the traffic off? Is it best for the best performance, the best cost, or the best reliability? Which is more important to you at any given time? And when you're not the only customer, you have customers too, right? Are your customers, and not every customer is paying the same price for the same traffic. So then you have to understand, is this traffic that I'm delivering to this customer costing me more than I'm actually making? Or am I making any money from it? Or if I am making a lot of money from this type of traffic to this type of customers, why am I not getting more of this type of customers? Shouldn't I be telling my sales team, let's go get these type of customers because that's where we could make money, right? But without actual understanding in the granular detail, based on ASN, based on the traffic type, based on where it's going, where it's coming from, and where it's going, who you're paired with, is the next stage, right? To the people that's getting the traffic, not getting as great performance because of you going through this peer and not that peer, right? So there's so many nuance that you could adjust that allows you, if you understand your priorities, is it, you're going to be able to get better performance, better reliability, or are you going to be able to get better cost, right? So if you had more money because you were able to compromise a little bit on the performance and but not compromising on the reliability, doesn't mean that the capital now you have that was paying for the service, right? The extra capital paying for the service can be now reinvested into the business for something else, for you to reach somewhere else or to more capacity. So that, there's so many different things. And we can help you also through the new capabilities, what each of your customers is costing you,
Wow.
right? Which I have to tell you that as a network operator in my previous career, um, we tried very hard trying to figure out what each customer is costing us because you're connecting a customer at multiple places. The traffic's always different, and there's different cross connect at different colos with different underlying network. Some of it that you can dissect into and attribute a cost. Some of it is very difficult. Kentik has the ability now to give you the actual dissection, right? To give you the granular details to help you understand your own business through technology innovation.
That's a huge kind of evolution, I believe, and helping solve this puzzle, right? Which is, as you mentioned, is very granular, and with the myriad of different metrics that you're looking at, that's a tough problem to be solved. And it's incredible that Cantic is offering that to their customers. Can you tell me what is the first reaction of your customers who got to actually get this insights and visibility into their costs and their traffic? Is this an aha moment, disbelief? What is it that you get from your customers?
Oh God, this is the best part. It makes me so excited. And I love this is the best part of my job is when you bring something to market that there's an actual need, a real need, right? That's filling a gap. And the customers are starved for a tool like this and they love it. They jump in, they dive in, and they're finding new ways of how to improve their own business.
Exactly.
And so the feedback is incredible that we're getting from our customer base. Um, they are loving it and they're using it, they're implementing it in different places. And the best thing that we're getting right now is for the customers who have seen success that they've implemented this feature. And this feature was beta with our existing customers first, right? So if you were a customer, you got access to the product, and now we're just launching it to the new, to the market, to the general market. So Now anyone that's coming to Kentik can have access to it. And they are introducing our customers, our existing customers have had access to this, are the ones that's out selling Kentik for us, right? They're telling their colleagues at other companies that how they're using Kentik. And now, we have people coming to us asking, can we have access? Can we take a look at how this can help us? And along with everything else that Kentik is doing. So, it's such exciting times for us to be filling a gap in the market because people were doing some of what we're doing uh, not very effectively through multiple spreadsheets and different tools. Imagine that going through two different departments trying to pull the data. Our customers are telling us what you're doing for us in seconds, milliseconds, in real time. We're pulling reports that used to take us multiple weeks to put together. And by the time we pulled that report together, it's already out of date.
Yeah, it was like retrospective data, and if it probably doesn't make much sense to you in terms of finance, like of the decision that you can make, because you really need to have this visibility right now to be able to reroute, as you put it, right, reroute or peer with a different provider just to have this cost efficiency. But if you get this like monthly report where you actually can see this data, but you can do nothing about it, it's like useless, good for nothing.
It's always a lagging indicator, right? So when it comes to in the past, it was always a lagging indicator because you had no way of getting to the real-time data. So if you're trying to make changes to your network, right, nowadays with all this capabilities of automation, right, you can make changes on the fly if you have the data, if you know what decision to make to implement. But if your data is months old, then what's the point of making an immediate change because that may or may not be effective. However, if you are getting real-time data through Cantik's new traffic cost analysis, then you can make that decision right away. And then, you could continue to watch how that impacts your business and then make another decision shortly after to do something different to help you, right? To really adjust your business and control your business. This gives the network operators and the management of those businesses real control because now you understand in real time through real data, well, you already had, right? The data you already had, you just didn't have the ability to pull all of the different pieces together and correlate them into one conclusion.
Yeah, and so interesting thing is like how do you specifically do this? Like from my perspective, I would imagine that at Kentik you already have the platform in place and you have a lot of things that you are tracking, right? Like the performance, the traffic, the routing, and on top of that you put the cost. So maybe or like I would probably dramatically simplify that, or maybe you could let us like walk us through how specifically you are implementing this traffic cost feature and how does it help organically provide this real-time data that can be really insightful and can impact businesses.
Absolutely. There's actually a ton of proprietary capabilities that we're implementing in there, but it is through all of the data that we are collecting from various data streams, whether it is flow, SNMP, right? Like the port capacities, the actual data of the devices, and that the customers input their own cost data that's private to them that nobody else sees. And then we use based on the data flow um, and enhanced data enhancement, right? That we pull enrichments that we not enhancement, data enrichment that we pull in to help enhance the insight to help understand, if you can correlate these types of information, the capacity on the port, these ports that are being utilized across this particular region for this particular ASN, which represents a particular network or a group of ASN, right? That could represent a customer or multiple customers that belong to one holding company, right? So all of that, and where is it going? How is it getting there? Who are all the networks in between? How long are each of these segmentation is taking? Does it impact the performance? Right? And what alternative paths should there be? Could there be? And there's all different types of information that we're putting together. And that's the magic of Kentik, right? Because we have access to so many different things, to so many different types of data, and we understand as a company, right? And maybe not me personally in great depths, but our engineering team and product team are putting together, there's so much data and utilizing our own intelligence to generate this insight for our customers to hope to help them do better business, to provide better services for their customers, and have the ability to increase their margin.
Yeah, I would say that's a quite groundbreaking solution that you are offering to the market, and it's like in many dimensions, it will have a positive impact on many businesses, right? Because, like as I said before, it's incredible that the knowing your cost was something like a magic, right? That you would not have this visibility, which should be the basis. And now with Kentik solution, you will get this granular understanding of your traffic and of the cost, and you can actually make the decision on the spot, which is amazing.
Absolutely. And we were actually talking about the ability to make better business decisions. It's not something, um, people think that they have the ability to, but often they don't, right? And what's interesting to me is when you're making the right decisions, it doesn't have to be something drastic. If somebody says, "Oh, my finger hurts," chopping off the arm is not necessarily the right solution, but that's something that we may have done in the past because we're afraid, oh, what if it's an infection that, then somebody could die from it. And so then the decision becomes so drastic. But if we truly understand the root cause and the what is triggering the symptoms, right, then it's the little things that you can do to make such a big difference. And understanding, utilizing all of this data to understand how it's impacting your cost and how it's impacting your ability to actually be more efficient in your own business. Because it's not just cost, it's how you can interact with your customers to allow them to have better service and that you can make more money from it.
Okay. Then, like I believe many of our listeners and businesses that, will find this new feature absolutely fascinating. The natural question would be how easy it is to implement. So you mentioned that there are customers, your customer, Kentik customers, that are already enjoying the feature. They were probably the first to be exposed to it, to have to reap the benefits. What about the new ones? How difficult or how easy it is to roll out? If you are do you need to become Kentik's customer, or you can just buy the feature?
So that's a really great question. And I got to tell you that this is such an exciting piece of Kentik. Um, because of the current launch of this new capability, it is right now at a promotional state where it is a part of the Kentik platform for free. So if you are a customer of Kentik and you're using Flow Analytics, you can have access to traffic cost analysis as part of your platform service.
Wow. Okay. So it's for free
Yeah,
for Kentik
exactly.
customers. Okay.
Yes,
That's exciting. So they will get
absolutely.
all of the benefits and it's for free. But
Of the core platform, that's right. There are some ancillary pieces. If you buy just that, then this is not part of that. But if you're part of the core platform, then absolutely, this is a piece that you can access right now without having to spend any additional money.
that's fantastic news. Wow. Okay. I believe many of your customers will be super excited about this new feature, right? And the benefits that you are actually offering for them to enjoy with together with.
Yes, and yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I am, this is the value of SaaS, right? Of right now, our customers, if you bought Kentik years ago because of the need to understand your flow, your network flow, and throughout Kentik's history, we continue to generate innovations such as traffic cost analysis to bring you additional value that you don't need to pay for. This is part of your service right now. But there are some really incredible AI opportunities that we're putting out into the platform that our customers can take advantage of to help them run their businesses more effectively and efficiently. Um, so, people should be out looking for those options and those opportunities and start implementing those because everybody in the market is looking to improve the operational efficiency of their business and how to utilize AI to help them do more and do better. And Cantic is leading the field in network intelligence on that front.
That's fantastic. That's exactly what many want to hear, right? That the industry is innovating, is looking for new solution and leveraging the new technology, specifically AI, that has a great promise, right? For service providers, for large businesses that very often were flying blind. And now with the new technology, they get this vision, right, and the granular understanding of different aspects of their business. And one of them is traffic cost, which is a great evolution for the business. Yeah, so Jezzibell, thank you so much for your time and for sharing your insights. We will be definitely looking at Kentik's innovations and new products and features, and we'll be happy to have you back to share those with our listeners and viewers and audience in general. It's been a great pleasure, and yeah, best of luck with the new innovative products that you're working on.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for having me back. And, if it matters and your customers, your audience is interested, we'd love to be able to bring not ourselves, right, but our customers to come provide some feedback on, how they're benefiting from our business. So, because it's as much as I could spend all day here telling the world how great I think Kentik is, I think it's much more effective to have our actual customers who are utilizing Kentik to tell the world how that we are able to change their business for them for the better.
Oh, fantastic! That's a great, the great idea, and I would really love to, maybe to sit like with your customers, with yourself, and we can talk about that real value that Canton brought to their business. So that's a wonderful one, and let's maybe take it offline and discuss how we can organize like a kind of discussion. And I'd really love to hear from some of your customers, hear their
That
stories.
would be fantastic. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I think that your audience would love to hear how creatively, our customers are utilizing the platform as well. So thank you for your time. And it's always lovely speaking to you.
Likewise, thank you so much, Isabel. Talk to you soon.
Take care.